Here I've got the Unreal Engine ArcViz demo, and I'm just going to show you some basic material application using some of their sample materials. We've also included a spotlight in the scene just to show you. I'm going to put in some old cobblestones to make it look like an interesting surface, which will create this illusion of geometry, though the way it works in Unreal Engine 4 is that in fact it's not geometry, and that's the beauty of it and why the real-time rendering works really well. Looking in a wireframe mode, we can see that there's no geometry at all. It's just a flat plane that's being projected onto with our material. There's parallax mapping used here, giving the illusion of depth. It's actually a bump map that's being applied. As you can see here with this spotlight, we can adjust it and make it look as if it is real and has got the illusion of a rendered textured surface. It creates depth and looks like actual geometry. It's just drawing less, making things faster, and that's really the beauty of this tool. In something like V-Ray, you might use a displacement map, which should have a similar setup, but the time it takes to render that is quite different. And you can see that the material itself is generated through this massively complex spaghetti tree type of construction using a tool similar to Grasshopper, but these are all pre-built materials, so we don't have to go and create them from scratch. This is one of the fantastic things of all these environmental materials being available in a tool like Unreal Engine. Having a look at the detail, you can see there's no actual geometry sticking out, but of course it looks really impressive and it looks very, very realistic. It also saves a lot of computing power. You can change it to different things in here to see how the light map instructions work. It's a really, really, really good tool that creates an impressive illusion. In real-time rendering, what you want to do is have the lowest number of draws in your model to reduce the computational overhead. We can also adjust the texture coordinates as I'm showing here. So for example, a factor of 10, and we can scale down the materials. I can apply that scale to this preview here, and you can see they're quite tiny cobblestones shown here. And then we can actually apply that directly into our scene to show many, many very tiny cobblestones across the surface here. That's quite a powerful way to adjust material dimension. We switch it from say 10 to 0.01. Obviously it's going to get much larger and adjust accordingly. Once we apply that, you can see how that affects it in the model. We now have gigantic cobblestones, making our sample building look very, very tiny in scale. But this is one of the great features of materials in Unreal Engine, that we've got a lot of flexibility to play around with dimensions and really bring that whole model to life.